Uh, Hello everyone, good evening. So, in tonight I will talk about the scientific paper writing. This is a class 2, right? So, can anyone summarize the first class? What do we learn? So, you missed the class, right? So, who attended the class? Anyone can share the idea? Yeah, you attended the class, right? So, can you summarize? What do we learn?
We learned introduction
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
structure of.
Mm-hmm.
We learned how to write
What? How to write what?
an introduction
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay, so from the first class, we learn some basic things, like some very important steps, right? That you need to know before you write your paper. Like, you're not just can write your paper. You need to know some tips, right? You need to know some important steps that I talk fast, right? What you should do and what you shouldn't do, right? And I said, if you want to publish your paper, so you need to have some skills, right? So what skills should you have? So I talk about them. Then I talk how to write titles. The first one, titles. Then what is the structure of the authorship, right? And who can be author? Like anyone can be author? No, it's not possible, right? It should be field relevant, right? You are doing research on life science. The other people should be on life science. You are working with like the meteorology. Yeah, other guys should be the relevant fields. Maybe you can have work on like machine learning. It's fine, but what you are focusing on the climate change, you are focusing on meteorology, machine learning, right? So from the computer science, students can also join this like research if he or she have the good knowledge on this, right? You know the machine learning, but you can apply anywhere. Like for the classification, you can classify the face in the machine learning. Even in my say, okay, I'm in meteorology, I can use this classification process to classify the clouds, classify the different aerosols, classify different materials, classify some factors. So it's not limited to use only for the computer science, right? It's like computer is for all, mathematics is for all. Anyone can use, right? Is the thing. So it should be relevant, right? So I also talk about who can be a first author, who can be a co-author, and who can be a corresponding author, right? This is the thing. Even I talk about some ethics, and I talk about sometimes which time should you start writing. Even I talk like we have the structure in the paper. It starts from the title, then the authorship, then abstract, then keywords, the introduction. Then we have like data and methods, result discussion, summary, conclusion, then references. But you should know from where you should start writing. I talk about them. Okay, this is the structure of a paper, but you should start writing from the data and methods. Then result and discussion, then summary, conclusion. Then you finish the references, then you come to the introduction. It's a very difficult part. When you finish the introduction, then you write the abstract. It should be very concise. Right? So I talked about them. Now tonight, I will talk about the last part of the paper writing. Then we have another class for citation and reference management with Mendeley software. So my voice is okay, right? It's clear, right? Can you hear, right? Okay, thank you. So tonight, for class 2, we have 3 classes for scientific paper writing. First class talk about the title, introduction, keywords. So tonight I will talk about the data and methods, the result and discussion, then the summary or conclusion, right? Then the last class, I will focus on citation and reference. It's very important you need to know before you submit your paper. Different journal has different style, so you need to follow them. If you don't follow, your paper will come back. It will send you, oh, you didn't follow my journal structure. You need to follow. Different journal has different style. So if you do manually, you'll die. Like sometimes it will take many times, like much times to prepare and maintain the comma, semicolon, etc., etc. But in Mendeley software, you just select the journal, which journal do you want to submit, select, and Mendeley will do for you. So this is the last class. So tonight, okay, so now you can share your ideas, right? What should you write for data and methods? What we should write in data and methods? Do you have any idea? You can share ideas and speak loudly so it's recording so students from outside China can understand, right? You can share your knowledge. Any idea? No, it's almost you finish your master's or like on a PhD student, right? You should know because you have to publish your paper if you want to get the degree. So, whatever your idea can be right or wrong. It's not a matter, right? You can share your ideas. Just share your ideas. It can be right or wrong, whatever. Anyone?
I think it may be the main,
Speak loudly.
I think it may be the main content about our topic. Maybe information or our analysis.
Anyone?
We should collect data about our.
You have collected. You have finished analysis. Now your part is writing. So not collecting. How you collect how do you collect your data? You should write. Not collecting. What should you write now?
So for that first we have to do the introduction.
There is no introduction. It's a data method. What introduction?
Method I want to talk about.
Yeah. You will talk about methods, not introduction. Like
In method there is first we have to write introduction, after that the main body and the conclusion.
every writing has the format to write, but data and method is different. Like yeah, these are writing structure. You said introduction, body, and conclusion. These are writing structure. But I'm talking specific data and method. Anyone? What? There the question is there. Data and method. Read the. Oh, there is a question. Is there? Read the question.
Okay, I think data is what we want to use, and the method is about the topic. Like which method do we want to use according
Do you want to use? You already finished.
already finished.
Paper writing. That's been first thing is the analysis. Right? You have finished the analysis.
Oh,
This is the writing part. You see the right. So this is the writing part. You have finished everything.
so the analysis now is from get the result.
Okay, let's see. What I said, we should start writing from data and methods. So this is the heart of research. If your data and method is wrong, your results is wrong, your findings is puha. Your paper will not publish. Data and methods wrong means your results is wrong, puha. Did you get it? So be careful. Like most of the reviewer comments on data and methods. What is the method? You need to justify. You need to use science. Why did you use this method? Why? The big part here. So you need to describe the data set, including their sources. From where did you collect your data? You should give link, or you should say, okay, say for example, you download it from NASA, it's fine. You need to write. You need to describe what is their, if it is special data, what is the resolution, when we started, and why are you using this data? And what is the advantages and disadvantages? And in your field, did any researchers use this data for this analysis? You have to include there. So, don't hide. In data and methods, you should clarify for readers. You can't hide. Even sometimes you have to give the link. Even some journals, like in Nature, nothing to hide. Even you have to supply the data, even the code. You know, this is the high-top journal. They will run your code and see the results. Okay, if they accurate, then the paper will publish. You know. So this part is the most important in scientific paper. If your data and methods come out, your results is come out, your publish will not be bukhari, not allowed. Okay? Sorry, my Chinese is very bad. Yeah. So now, how you analyze the data? Even which software you use? Did you do by manually? How? Yeah, you need to write then. Maybe use the model. What is your model? What is the parameterization? How do you the parameterize? Which system did you use? How you like some, say for example, work model, there's a different version, there's different parameterization, like you need to compile. How did you do that? Like in machine learning, I use the machine learning, I'm writing in my data method, I use this library from Python. That's when I'm justifying, I didn't use myself. So when you write a Python, it makes sense. Python, it made the function, it's qualified. Scientists made the code, so there is no error. Even use the Python, you need to give the explanation. How did you parameterize? In machine learning, even we need to parameterize. How do you parameterize? And why are you using this machine learning? Why are you using this method? Any researchers from previous research? Did they use or not? You have to explain. Yeah, I use this method. Like in my research, I research on tropical cyclone. I always analyze the data from center to 500 kilometers. Why I use the 500 kilometers? I need to explain. Of course, there is science. In another paper, I use the Fourier decomposition method. Why did I choose this Fourier decomposition? What is the application? So everything you have to write. There is nothing to hide in data methods. You have to clarify. You know. So then, data quality control. Okay, that is the question. If I use data from NASA, it's fine. I'm giving, okay, I use the stream data from NASA. That's when it's qualified. Say, for example, I'm using my station data. Station data is not especially homogeneous. It's not especially, it's from radar. So there is also the missing value. Like in NASA, from the satellite data, they already, every data has a missing value and given value. You know that? So if you have the missing value, you need to define. So computer will not check its data. It will be a missing. Right? The missing value can affect your results, can affect your computation. Right? So you need to define how this will qualify. If it's the NASA, it's fine, you are giving. But if you have the station data, there's a different process. Okay, let me show you. Sorry, I got cold. My brother. Okay. For the last part, if it is the station data, okay, let me example from my paper. Data quality control. Like I use the Bangladesh Meteorological Department. So like I gave here, as a missing value, I put minus 99.9. So I define in my analysis, okay, this is the missing value. Then there's the question, you know the outliers, even there can be outliers. What is the outlier? Say for example, rainfall. Is it possible rainfall less than 0? No. So this is the outlier. Like your data, you have the minus 90 millimeter. So it's wrong. There is no rainfall means 0. Isn't it? So for example, in Bangladesh, we have the average temperature, say for example, 36. It can be 37, it's fine. But in your data is 90 degrees centigrade. Is it possible in Bangladesh? No. No. Even in Nanjing can be negative temperature, right? -7. But in Bangladesh, no. Even in our history, there is no negative. Our lowest temperature was 2 degrees centigrade and 35 people died. So we know the history from the lowest temperature was 2 degrees centigrade, but in your data it says negative 50 degrees centigrade. Is it possible? No. This is the outlier you need to find. Like if you took your data from NASA, it's fine. You are giving, okay, this is special resolution, this one. From NASA, that means they already qualified. There is no question. Big lab on there. So there is no question. But if your data is from a station or from different measurements, how did you measure this? There can be some missing value. Like, say for example, you collect data from the field. Sometimes there is electricity from the machine has stopped. You will not get the data. So you need to define this thing, right? Then, how I recognize outlier based on statistics? So I define these statistics. Even I use this software in R software. This software can find the multiple like these outliers. So I define them. Now I justify, okay, you did something. You need to know the method. There's explanation. You have to do this. Even like, see, even for calculating that SPI, I use this, even I put the link. Like any reader can go there and download. Nothing to hide in method. You need to explain more. Even I use this software, even I get the link. Like the reviewer can go there and see, oh yeah, this can be. Like in anyone from drought field, they know, okay, this software, reviewer is expert. Is it getting? So you need to justify in data and method. You need to describe your data. Very well, include the sources from where you collect. Right? Even like how you analyze, you need to explain. Maybe you can use some mathematics. Why? Maybe use some statistics, for EOF or cross-Laplace transform or Fourier deconvolution method or Fourier wavelet. That's why did you use this one? What is the application in your field? Use a machine learning SVM. Why? Everything you have to include in data and methods. Kaima? Is okay? Yeah, so this is the thing. Otherwise, your paper must might be rejected. Might be rejected. Yeah, might be rejected. Yeah, even must be rejected if puha is very puha. Like it didn't include anything, just you read a word.
But sometimes it's by mistake, so they are.
No, it's small. It's okay. It's okay. Small is everyone can make mistake, but there should be small. It's not like you hidden your method. Wow. No. Sometimes okay, like you describe your method, but you didn't put the algorithm. Sometimes okay, it's better to add algorithm. People will ask you. It's fine. Or maybe you describe, but it's not clear. Reviewer can ask you, make more clarification. It's fine, but you need to give the explanation. Okay? It depends on your field. So, any idea now from results? Now, analysis has finished, right? Now, you need to tell your story. What the
method
method finished. Now, you need to write your results. You have the key findings. You need to tell your story. So, idea? I'm telling you, those guys who are missing this class will suffer very soon. They have to publish paper. I'm telling you. And nobody will teach you this even in free. No. What you should write results. Any idea? It can be right or wrong, whatever. Share your ideas. What do you know?
Are you talking about just to write or just to include the results?
Yeah, results. So,
If it is only about the results, because there are a lot of analysis you are doing, so the result are the main core, what we can say, it's called core conclusion. So
no,
that,
I'm not talking about the conclusion. We are coming conclusion. Now I have the results. Like you got these results from the life science, like you are doing research on COVID-19. You made, like, you discovered the vaccine that can help you save like people. You need to tell the story. Yeah, this is my results. I got this one. I got this. This is a result. So, what you should write? And how can you interpret your results? Like you need to tell your story now. This is a story. Yeah. So how? How can you interpret our results? Any idea? Any idea? No? Oh my sir. You almost done your master's. So you have the main results or key findings, whatever you say. You can interpret through figures or tables or it can be a graph, right? Now you need to tell a story through figures, but there is a rules. How to put your figures. You're just plotting your figure and you throw in Microsoft Word and giving it to the journal. Journal will accept. No, that's the rules. In scientific research, first is you need to make sure your analysis is accurate. Then you need to beautify. You go to beauty color and furnish your figure, how it looks. But first you need to make sure it's scientifically correct. The most important thing. Maybe your figure is very good, Feng Shanghai or Piaolian, whatever, but it's scientifically incorrect. But when it's scientifically correct, then make more beautiful. Yeah. Then we come to for beautification. So we can interpret our results through figures, through tables, can be graph, whatever. Like one figure can tell you 1,000 words. You don't have to write. Even one figure can tell you more stories, right? So for example, this figure from my paper in 2019. So I used it from Cyclone Center to 500 kilometers. So in the figure, you should have the caption, not top of the figure. It should be below the figure. Different journal has different format. However, it should be in caption. Bottom, at the bottom, right? Even figure should be clear. Like I copied from there, maybe it's not. Okay. Then you have to write here. Don't assume reader will see there and will understand, assume. No, you need to clear here. What is A and what is B? Don't assume. Don't put stress on reader. If you put stress on reader, reader will, this paper is not good. It is putting stress on my mind. This paper, your paper will not be cited. So, like in the morning, I was reading some paper on machine learning. Some papers is hidden the information. They said, okay, I use this method. How did you do it? Okay, I found some papers. It's very interesting. Like in hydrology, it's LPS journal. Oh, this paper is good. Then I recommend this paper to my other friends. Read this paper and this paper is good. That's when I will cite this paper for sure. And when I recommend some friends, and they will also cite this paper, that's when your paper impact will go up, right? So don't assume. You need to write everything. Caption should be clear. That's it. Like here, you can see some red points, right? What the red point I said here? The red circle indicates the genesis point of thesis. Don't assume. Yeah, who are doing research on tropical cyclone, they know this is the genesis points. However, maybe you are not doing research on tropical cyclone, but if you read this caption, you will understand, okay, this is this thing. Don't assume. Okay. In figure, you need to write caption, just bottom of the figure, right? Now, even you can interpret your results, you can compare, like, you can show your figure by tables, right? Use the table. So what is the table? It should be bottom, the caption should be bottom or up?
The table.
Yeah, for the tables. Any idea? Like in figures, you always put the caption at the bottom of the figure. Okay, there is another thing. Like you are putting your figure. Where will be the text? Like after the figure or before the figure? You are putting the figures. You need to, like you're writing about your figures. For caption, it should be put on the figure. But you're writing a story, like in text. I'm saying in text and figure. So like, this is my paper. So just assume this is my Microsoft One page. This is another page. I put the figure here, here, maybe here. So where will be the text?
Text will be above them.
Of course. Above. Even it should be one another. Don't put like in text everything. You just put in figure, figure. No. Like you are describing one method or like one results and keep text here and put the figure is related to this figure. Then maybe you have the another results. Then give another title, then put the figure. It should be logical follow. Don't put together one by one, sequentially. Right? This is my personal experience. This is a real experience. So, don't put like this. So now, come to the table. Where should be the caption? Is bottom or up? Like in figure, you put bottom of the figure, right?
Normally it is being used either two. Sometimes it is above, sometimes it is below.
No, but there is a general rules. Maybe there is a different structure in journal, but there is must like general rules. Bottom or up? It can be right or wrong. Okay, let's see. Be up. In general, you'll find a paper. Some journal have structure. Title is this side. Title is this side. Whatever it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Any tables, but there is a caption, right? What is this?
Yeah.
Don't assume. You need to write like a figure. What is that? Maybe table 1, table 2, table 3, right? What is this? You need to tell everything there. And what is the unit? Yeah, you put here. However, you need to put in caption. Maybe this is a big table. I will not focus everything there. Maybe I will just read the title. Here, you need to write. So, should be like this. Now, I said you have the figure or tables, right? So, you'll write the text, right? You will interpret. So, first you need to introduce the figure. So, for example, if I want to talk about this brother, I need to, like, introduce himself. What is the name? Where is he come from, right? Then, okay, maybe I can include, okay, he is a PhD student or whatever, he is the president of AAT, whatever. So first, introduction, right? We need to introduce. Yeah, he's a man, his name is this, he came from Pakistan, he's a PhD student, maybe he's a president, or etc., etc., etc. So even in figure or table, you need to introduce first. Even in IELTS test, if you take the IELTS test, even in task 1 in writing, English test, I'm talking about the IELTS test. There's the two, in writing there's the two tasks, task 1 and task 2. In task 1, you have to write table, figures, etc. Can be math. So always we start with the introduction. We introduce the figure or tables. Don't assume.
Sometimes it is not only the table, it is actually the textual but figures. So sometimes
Whatever, but we need to introduce.
Yeah.
We need to introduce. Like this, say for example, okay, figure 10 displays this. Even, okay, I don't want to talk about the grammar, but the first sentence should be in the present tense. Figure 10 displays or shows, etc. The first sentence we write in the present tense. Then you need to support, what is the supporting data? You are introducing this figure, but what is the figure? You need to give the support. You need to explain the data. Then maybe this is okay, this from here, there maybe. I'm talking about my figure. Okay? So, now, okay, there is an option. You can write results and discussion together. Most of the people can do. Like most of the people often do that. Like in my paper, I follow this strategy. Combine the result and discussion. Combine. Like I'm interpreting my results, then I'm comparing this guy, and at the same time I'm doing the discussion. Or you have choice. First, you are like interpreting your results. Then you can separate the discussion. It's up to you.
But in the first part, only in the results, when you are putting your results, you need to just little explanation about your results. What it is.
Yeah, it's up to you. So you can separate or you can add together. That's up to you. But for me, I use both together. And in my field, most of the people use this one. So this is the thing. Now, in the results, we are interpreting the key findings through figures or tables, right? For discussion, what should we do? Any ideas? In discussion, yeah, Lavan, come close. Yeah.
My question is, writing results and discussion as the same.
I will take your question at the end. Even you miss some point. So keep silent and I will take your question. Don't worry. Yeah.
The discussions, normally we try to find out the factors,
Speak louder, please.
like some factors or reasons behind if there is, you are working on a mechanism, and maybe try to find out like caveats or let's say gaps in our own study.
Maybe some people are not used to caveats, so you should say
Gaps.
advantages.
Like
Yeah.
gaps.
These are synonyms. Some people will not understand caveats, so advantages.
Yeah, even like we try to find out like some gaps remaining in our own study.
The knowledge gap, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And another possibility could be like taking our how to say our results or discussions to like kind of link it with like an upcoming or something new that we want to work on.
Okay. Brother, your PhD students should give the ideas. Give the idea. Just share the ideas. We are learning. We are mutual learning. We are learning. We are sharing our ideas. Yeah, that's it. It can be right or wrong. Lavan.
What I know in the discussion part is like, suppose you have done something and you have interpreted the results, and then from the results there, it's like now you are going to give the physical interpretation of what you have obtained, and you know that before you had a gap, so there you try to give out what you have obtained, and sometimes now you try to, because before you are doing your work, that means you have passed also through different previous studies. So there you are, it is like I'm going just like even to compare and contrast with the other previous results. You may find some results that I have obtained, they are the same with the others, but there is something new also I have got which is different from the other. Also, you find maybe there is something during your work, there is something also you have not done. Maybe later on there you may suggest the future work that should be done, that in this work I've covered this, but in the future this one should be looked on. So something like that.
Yeah. Like, you know, in results, you can interpret. Okay, you are just writing the story, it's fine. You know, in this section, you should be louder. This is called the scholarly discussion.
Yeah, that's why we say for beginners.
So you should have very good grammar and writing. You should have academic knowledge. Now you got these results. Why did you get these results? You need to compare. Like, okay, I'm doing research on tropical cyclone rainfall, and this brother also doing tropical cyclone. But what I got is very different from him. Why? The same place. Maybe I'm doing research on tropical, like North Indian Ocean, right? Then in the North Indian Ocean, he also did research on North Indian Ocean. But it's very different from him. Why? I need to give the explanation. Maybe he can make some mistake in methodology. So I need to use some statistics. Maybe I need to use some algorithm. Maybe I tested it. Yeah, he is wrong. Or maybe there is different scenarios. Maybe he did the different time. Now, maybe he did from 1998 to 2016, but it's 20, maybe 2 years. The climate can be changed, like the phenomenon can be changed. So I need to give the explanation. Why? Even there can be similar results. You need to compare. Okay, this brother did the research on North Indian Ocean and they got this result. So my result is consistent with him. Even sometimes, like I got these results, but nobody has done this. I need to give the explanation. What is the mechanism? What is the physics? Why is happening? Then we, in IELTS writing, there is called the speculate. You need to speculate. Okay, there is a possible reason. You don't know, you are not sure. But you are saying, okay, there might be the possible reason, this. And for this reason, it can be. Even you put in citation, okay, this guy said, okay, the rainfall is affected by this factor. So, this factor can affect this result. That's why this result is going like this. You need to give the discussion. If you read this part, you go, no. Send back the paper. Right, and cite the papers. Like, another paper is like accepted, but after major revision is dynamics and ocean and dynamic atmosphere and oceans in Elsevier. I use the Fourier decomposition method. I got the 4 reviewers, and 4 reviewers commented the same questions like, what is the physical mechanism? What is the physics behind this? Why did you get this result? Question is very small, but the explanation is very deep. I had to study hard, even sometimes I didn't take shower. The whole day I'm reading, but maybe something in Google, you will not always find something in Google, even YouTube. There is something secret, Some academic knowledge is secret. So I'm just asking, why the physics? That's why in your field, you should have very good academic knowledge. Like reviewer can ask you very technical question. So I had oh my God. 15 days, even just, that my wife was cooking and putting the foods in my table. I was thinking, okay, no, I don't have time. And professor, my supervisor said, I don't have time to see the reviewer questions. Just finish and send me, I will just say, oh my God, 4 reviewers. Then I finish. Alhamdulillah, we can send back. Maybe very soon it will be published. But I know, oh my God. Sometimes the reviewer can ask you very deep question. So be prepared about that. That's why in the first class I said, if you have the scientific skill, then you finish the analysis. Then you should have very good grammar. And writing should be like the standard writing, right? Not just speaking and writing is not the same way, right? Then you have the academic knowledge. Then the game starts. The editor, first will go to the editor. Editor will see, okay, that's good. Okay, I can send to reviewer. Or if your paper is not fitting for this journal, okay, send back. This is not suitable for in the journal. Or there is a gap in methods. Your method is saying like this. So the first step, it can be rejected from the editor. But your paper, okay, initially okay, it's fine. Then send to reviewer. Reviewer will send back. Then you send the comments. Even it come back again. No, the reviewer is not satisfied. Sometimes some reviewers is very, what should they say? Even sometimes stupid. You know. But you don't have way to argue. Even if you argue, it should be the polite way. You can't make cowards. It should be the right way. Okay, I got this. In the scientific, like taking away, you should give the answer. It should be very polite. So this is the game. Okay, so let's see. So in discussion like what I said, you need to compare the new findings with the previous study. Just I took very little part in my paper. I got these results. Then I said, this guy said this guy, this guy, this guy. Even similar results can be. Just I took very little part from my paper. So you got these results, you have to compare these results. Who got these results? Can be different, can be similar. So you have to. I just took little part, it's a big part in discussion.
Sometimes authors like they mention the previous studies within results, like for different sections.
Yeah.
Is it right?
Maybe you missed the talk. What I said, it can be together, it can be different. Yeah, it can be separate. It's fine. It's up to you. But for me, I always write together. It's better. Like I'm writing one figure, I'm telling my story. At the same time, I'm like comparing with the results. It's like for me, it seems easy. For another discussion, will be like no. For me, it's difficult. So it's up to you. Now, the summary or conclusion. Like there's the two options. Like in my paper, I combine results and discussion together. That's when in final I say summary and conclusion is finished. But when you write results, then you separate the discussion, then only conclusion. For me, a summary and conclusion. Like I finish, I compare at the same time, now summary and conclusion. So it's up to you. Can be a summary and conclusion or summary or the conclusion. It's up to you. But there is a structure. There is a structure. Can you tell me what is the structure for? Sorry. Summary and conclusion. What should you write in this part? Sorry, I got cold.
Background of study. It should begin with background of study. And maybe mention a few lines about methodology. Maybe methodology.
Speak loudly, even other people will hear.
First is like introduction to, a little bit introduction to
The background. Okay.
Then the data sets and methodology. And third should be all about the results, like the summary of from each section of results we can see. If we are doing different analysis, so there should be a small summary of like the core output or the
Lava, brother, share your ideas.
I don't know where we share.
Yeah, share.
There's something here I'm doing, but I don't think.
No, it's okay. Just stop for some time, and we are waiting for your ideas. Yeah, just share.
For me, what I know, like for someone in a solution,
Sorry.
yes, normally, because nowadays like the last part of your work. So I think if someone leads the conclusion, you can get the whole picture also through your work. So for me, what I always do is like there I will introduce even the some methodology for use them. Yeah, the study periods. Okay, there's something there because if you are writing, there is something you want to use before going to the conclusion that this, because you have said summary. So it is a summary. It is like you have to explain what you have done. You know, it is not like the abstract, but this one it is somehow deep compared to abstract. So I expect there to discuss, not to discuss because I have already discussed. It's like now the way it is, the way the sample. That means you give in brief what you have done, the methodology I have used, the study period, what I have obtained these ones, and maybe you give the conclusion, even the suggestion for future work.
Okay, thank you so much.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. This is adapted from my book. Our book will be published, so then we can distribute our books, so everything it has written in there. So, this is a structure. Summary or conclusion. You always restate the key findings. Not the key findings, but restate. Restate means you paraphrase. Don't write the same way. Like in results, you interpret it like there's more discussion, right? More details. But in summary conclusion, no. Restate the key finding. What is about that? Right? This is a general structure. Then the implications. What are in the research? What is the implication? What is the application of the rule? What is the importance of your research? What is the implication? How your research will help people? How your research will help society? How? If there is no implication, why we need to do such research? Right? Why Professor School is investing money for you? If there is no implication, why? If there is no implication, why would the scientific community will read your paper? Is it? If it is dusty, so you keep throw the dustbin. So you should put the implications. Yeah, my research is, and this research will help this. Yeah, I'm from the meteorological science, so it will help the meteorology guy. Maybe computer science guy will help you with the computer science, right? Every field has implications. Right? I can't tell, okay, this computer cycle will help it like in computer software. No, it shouldn't be. So, in my field, there is an implication of my research, right? Then, we always have limitations. We are not 100% correct. You should, at the end, you should add your limitations. Like for me, in my paper, I only use 19 years. So that's why I said, okay, more data set, long-term data set can be used to see the mode. Or maybe I use only one model. Maybe there can be used more models. So even like there is some problem to analyze your data, then you need to give the limitations. Yeah, when I did analyzing in research, I found this. So you need to tell your limitations. Then, what the brother said, provide the future direction. I will read your paper. They will recommend, okay, in future, Like in my paper, I said, okay, the future can use a long-term data or can use this model or this model, and we kept this knowledge for future use. That's why I'm reading your paper and then they say, okay, what is the future direction? Okay, you missed this knowledge, so this is a new thing. So now I'm planning, okay, this guy couldn't finish this thing, so this is a knowledge gap, so I will do this research. You need to tell the future direction. Then I will read your paper and okay, this guy missed this. Like what I said in that paper already has done by NASA scientists, but he missed North Indian Ocean. He didn't global basin except North Indian Ocean. Then I thought, okay, if he is the North Indian Ocean, I can do. So there will be future direction. This is a summary or conclusion. This is a general structure. Okay. Like summary and conclusion, there is no like concrete structure. You should write 2 pages, 3 pages. But you know the summary and conclusion shouldn't be like too long. It is summary. You know the summary. Summary means you will not write everything. You should be summarize. These are the key findings. Yeah. Sometimes it's okay. 1 page is okay, but 1 page is fine. But if the writing is too long, no. It's not conclusion. You are writing discussion.
So then, how is the implication of putting limitation, the study limitation in your work?
Yeah, you know your limitation on it.
Yeah. So what is the implication on the work? Like if we are putting like our study limits or something. Yeah. So wouldn't it affect the, let's say, if I want to send it to like a good journal, and wouldn't it,
Whatever in every journal, you have the limitation. Yeah, you have done a great job. Your research is very good for you, but there is also limitation. Yeah, it can be little, it can be more, whatever. You should write. You're not 100% correct. You need to do the 100% job, good job, right?
let's say I just want to, like, I want to get my work published in a good, like,
Whatever in good journal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will not affect. It will not affect. This is a structure, there is a limitation. Like, okay, say for example, I'm doing the research on machine learning, I'm predicting my data. So I'm using like SVM model and random forest model. Maybe for features, I input like 2 or 3 factors, but there's more factors. Or I did like I made prediction on machine learning. So I'm giving the definition. Anyone can run predict by what model? So can compare with machine learning. This is, so you can okay, I did this thing. However, what model and other dynamic model can be run to compare this result? Or use the short-term data, long-term data can be used.
So what the reviewer will be raised this question that why if you know this lacking or gap or something new, so why you are not using in your research or your work that you are mentioning that your work.
So you need to keep something for me, right?
Really? No,
There's
but
another step.
reviewer.
No.
Really? You will just say okay.
Like there is a vaccine, right? Chinese vaccine, Russian vaccine, but everyone not 100% correct. Like in Chinese, okay, in structure, okay, fail. Then I will say, okay, they failed, they are doing. There is some limitation. Say for example in WeChat. WeChat, you can only post maybe 30 seconds video, right? But in Messenger you can. So there is a limitation. This guy, okay, WeChat can't post more than 30 seconds. To make it another software, you can post more than
You
1
mean
minute.
that we cannot include everything in
Everything.
because it is not a research project. It is
You
just
can't
a
do
paper.
everything in your research.
It
No.
is just a paper.
That's
It's
not
not
an
a project.
object. Like you have the 2 or 3 objects. You have the 4 objectives. You will do everything in your only one research? No. It's possible. You will do everything in your own research? It's possible? No. You have the limitation. Is it possible? It will not affect you.
So you just mention them in the
Yeah, mention that you're giving the direction. You're telling, okay,
Like kind of suggestion, we could do this.
That's why they provide a future direction. You are given suggestion. What is the future direction? In future research can be used this. You're making recommendation. They're giving suggestion. Yeah.
It means that both of these things are connected with each
Yeah,
other.
yeah. That's it. You can write together one pair. Yeah. You can't do everything in one research. No, it's possible. Like in drought indices has SPI, SPI, then thermal drought, the different indices. Okay, maybe 7 or 5 indices. Even there is some like you can do more things. So in one research you will do everything? No. Like one paper from he just made SPI. Then he made another paper. He break down the SPI. What the matters like DI, the calamity water balance. He made another paper. So maybe another people will do another. Just you can't do everything in one research. It's possible. You've done everything. No.
It is only the series of the.
You have got three objectives, or maybe 5 objectives, or maybe 1, 2 objectives. If you want to do everything in one research, how is it possible? Vice President. Yeah, now your question.
No, it's not a question. I was just, I don't know it is. It's asking you advice. It's not a question.
No, question asking whatever you sharing your ideas is okay. It's okay, it's okay. Anything you just share.
Yeah, I'm asking if you are writing your paper and reaching on the result and discussion, separate it or writing at the same. Which is the best?
For me, if you ask me, okay, combined together is easier for me. I'm like describing one figure, and at the same time I'm comparing. It's easier for me. If I write discussion for again, I can divide. So it's like, it depends on the paper. But I did in my field or other fields, like most of the people use combined. Like if you, this paper from American University, Royal University, like some papers from atmospheric science, some papers, like in our field, like in this field, most of the people. But it's not mandatory you have to combine or separate. There's a choice. And when which one, you just try, and which one easier for you, you will decide to write. It's your own choice. But for me, it's easier for me. Okay, let me stop. Okay. Because this recording is going off, right? It's okay. Before we finish, I will take the question. We'll discuss. So, for the last class, I already sent to the Mendeley, right? How to download and install, isn't it? Yeah, I sent. Yeah. I sent this file, right? I already sent in the group. So, keep this file and download this Mendeley from this link. Then use, maybe you are using the desktop, right? Or can be Mac, can be Linux. You just download. Then, if you didn't use this one, register. You here. Okay? When you finish the registration, then you put the email and password and then log in. In the last class, I will not tell you this thing. So you will finish at home and come to the class. I will show you how to manage citation references. Guys, it's very important. Like you will submit your paper, it's different journal has different styles. So how do you manage manually? No, it will kill your time. So Mendeley is a very good software, very easy software, and it's free. Okay? So I already sent in the group. So you download. Okay, it's finished. Let me stop